welcome back to the OPL. My name is Michael Hingers Hing. Hashtag I am OPL. Get along to that Twitter. I am joined on the analyst desk by Froskered and Raz, who is giggling for some reason. You feeling happy? You feeling happy?
A little happy.
Yeah? All right. Because we're about to go into Sin versus Chiefs. Chiefs, Raz used to coach them. Sin, Frosco, they are your favorite team of all time, right? Of all time?
My favorite team. LPL, OPL, favorite team of all time.
So let's take a look at the lineups right now. First, we start with Chiefs. First we start with Sin, I apologize. Squeal in the top lane, Juves in the jungle, Raymaster mid lane, Raps AD carry, and Rogue in support. Now let's take a look at Chiefs. We've got Swiper in the top lane, Spooks in the jungle, Swiffer in the mid lane, Radar in AD carry, and Ejim in support. We saw Ejim on this desk sitting where you are right now, Frosco.
I love this. It's like a game. I'm like, oh, he's going to try to read up, and it's Swiper.
There's a lot of threes in that name. There's a lot going on.
No, it's just hilarious because we prep him. We go backstage. We're like, this is the points. We're going to break it down. And we're like, no one took the time to be like, Swiper.
That's how you say the name.
That's
how you say the name.
Squiggle. Good try.
Yeah, well, I'm working very hard, very new at this.
I'll have you know.
None of Spawn's giant brain.
It's all good.
All right, so let's. What are they playing for? What does this game mean?
Oh, this is super important. So effectively, right now, Sin, if they win here, they have the destiny, the power to make sure that they don't go into relegation. Chiefs, on the other side, are playing to confirm their spot in the playoffs. So this is pretty massive on both sides.
So they could lock this out right now.
Yeah.
Into
If they get this win, it'd be perfect for them. Exactly what they need, or Abyss will have a little hope.
The revenge.
It's like, there's some hope still.
There was a Star Wars reference, and you totally missed it.
You know what?
Give up.
This guy.
I failed.
Speaking of revenge, though, this is kind of a pride match or even a grudge match for Sin and Chiefs, yeah? There's some emotional bad blood between these guys?
It's just that, Sin are a very emotional team. Chiefs are kind of coming off of a slump. Both these teams are fairly vocal. It definitely is Chiefs do not want to lose to Sin, and Sin do not want to lose to Chiefs. And because now, on top of that, the games are so important to both these teams, either maintaining themselves in the OPL or locking themselves into playoffs, tension is pretty high.
Oh, and you better know that Sin smells like tastes a little bit of blood
in the water.
Yeah, it's like, I see you've lost a few games here. It's like, this is our time to come up. So it looks like this is the time. This is kind of exciting to get to watch because, of course, as you mentioned, both teams not a fan of each other.
I mean, it is an emotional game. Is this going to play to Sin's strengths then? Because they've got, are they going to be able to deal well with this kind of passion behind the game?
I mean, all eyes then have to be on Juves. He's probably easily the most emotional member on Sin. I consider him kind of the heart and soul of the team. So,
all right, let's get to it then. What are your predictions? What do you think of this series? Frosco, I'll go to you first.
I have to go with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs have definitely been on the upswing. They're out of their slump. Ejim seemed very confident. They are the higher bracket here. So, unfortunately, my heart tells me Sin, but my brain tells me Chiefs.
And 2-1, 2-0, what do you reckon?
I'm going to give Sin a map. I'm going to say 2-1.
All right. And Raz, what are your thoughts?
All right, very generous. Rymeister versus Swiffer, that's going to be incredible to watch, but 2-0 for Chiefs. Yeah.
To the Chiefs. All right. Well, those are the predictions. As always, we need to remind you that tickets are on sale right now for the OPL Split 2 Finals, August 13 in Brisbane at the Piazza, which is a beautiful venue. And if you're not in Brisbane, you'll be able to purchase tickets to go and watch it at cinemas, at Hoyt Cinemas around the country. But that is enough from us. Let us throw it over to the casters. Take it away, Ruggy and Rusty.
Thank you so much, Hingers. We are here getting into series number 2, Sin versus Chiefs. And look, Chiefs, they look very, very strong. They're a little bit shaky in the past, but Ejim was on the desk, very confident that they are back on form. But you got to remember that Sin, they've shown us a little bit of strengths here, whether it's that 5-man barrel down the mid lane that took a map off Legacy, or it's a classic 1-3-1 that they're known for.
Well, that means they have 2 strategies now, right? The start of the split, they barely had one. They were just feeding off what they used to be able to do, and now it feels like Sin have developed an identity moving into this split, and every single week they've gotten piece by piece a little bit stronger, coming up against the Chiefs, who are, by Ejim's words, in form again.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy.
Well, straight away, the Alawi band straight onto Swiper. He's not going to be getting his hands on that one. And neither is Swiffer on Talia. So a lot of target bans coming out of Sin tonight. You Guys on the desk mentioned that these two teams don't like each other. And what better way to kind of set the prerequisite for that than target ban your enemy?
There's a bit of old bad blood between them, but I'm sure they have made up and became friends again between organizations at the very least.
Fun.
It's a little bit of fun. Making friends is fun.
Oh, definitely, as we see Rise, Shen, LeBlanc being banned away. Just waiting on Chief's last one. It will be the customary red side Vladimir ban. See what Sin prioritizes the first pick.
What I will say, though, is regardless of bad blood or not, Juves is a very passionate, emotional man, and he will want to beat the Chiefs. This is really important for them. He even tweeted about it. They hold their own destiny in their hands, Sin. If they win this game, win this series, they might not get relegated.
It's such a big deal, and no one really wants to have the barrel of relegation staring down that one. Very nerving feeling, I'm sure, but they do lock themselves in the Rek'Sai, so Juves getting himself that first pick jungler. Very, very strong champion. Let's see how Chiefs answer. Could be Ezreal, could be anything.
I mean, pretty standard across the board. I mean, targets out of Sin makes sense, though, that they're on blue side. They get rid of Swiffer's champion pool and the Alawi from Swiper, who also has a standout Aurelia that he could always look towards. Has been performing well as of the last week. And it has been even mentioned, once again by Ejim, that Swiper is one of the better performing members at the moment. One of the big reasons that the Chiefs are starting to find themselves again.
Let's see what they decide to go for here. See if Chiefs are back on form. It is going to be a very strong bot lane, probably one of the strongest at the moment and of all time. It will be the Braum and the Lucian, complementing each other so damn well.
And as the 2v2 stands, you're right, that is definitely one of the strongest. A bit of facilitation gone, however, by the AD carry position.
True.
Not going to be an Ashe scene, not even an Ezreal for the slow. It's just that raw damage, which means the rest of the Chiefs might want to back it up with something extra. The Sinner just hovering Rymeister's champion pool.
Have a little bit of fun here. Doubt we'll see the Yasuo. This isn't the OCS. We're not going to be seeing a Sin team play Yasuo, that's for sure.
And they might actually be what they're shouting out towards as well. Mr. Bedoink is a fantastic Yasuo one trick.
He got it once in week 1, I think, and then never again.
Yep.
But will be the Thresh for Rogue, who also is a fantastic Thresh player, and the Ezreal for Raps. Very strong picks here.
Yeah, so by locking in that Thresh, I'm starting to get the vibes that they may look towards Squiggle's Nautilus. Something that Swiper can play, but it's a big team composition strength that the Sin will have.
Very quick lock in here for the Chief. Spooks is going to have his Gragas, and up in the top it will be Swiper on Aurelia. We saw just how well Aurelia can do in the right hands, and it seems like every top laner worth his salt is proving just that.
Yeah, Swiper is a fantastic Aurelia player. Spooks as well, rounding it out by having that Gragas, gives them the engage/disengage option once again, knowing full well that they have the Rek'Sai on the opposition team.
We got a battle of the carries in the top lane. It's going to be Jax taking on Aurelia. I'm very excited to see how this one goes. Should, of course, they meet up in that 1v1. We don't see lane swap shenanigans. But we do see Rymeister getting himself that victor. How will Chiefs respond here for Swiffer?
Swiffer having the option of last pick. Not always going to be a counter, but definitely just the availability of something like the Azir if he would choose. Knowing that the victor has been locked in, he can scale up, match the team fighting if he'd like. I really am excited for this top lane 1v1 though. Squiggle has been underperforming this split, except when he has Jax. And seems to be one of the better matchups for him. It doesn't matter who he's against, but when he gets the Jax, he does well. It's just a fact. But now he's against Swiper's Aurelia, and that could go either way.
Look, there's not many champions that can really spiral out of control quite like a Jackson. If Squiggle can even get kind of a whiff of that one, he's just going to be an absolute disaster for Chiefs to deal with. But they do eventually get rid of that Aurelion Soul and go for the more meta pick. It is going to be the Cassiopeia for Swiffer in the mid lane.
And as of this week, definitely rising as one of the meta options. Rymeister also quite a good Cassiopeia player himself, and opting towards the victor means they want more consistent burst, you would say, but that's exactly what a Cassiopeia provides, so it's just a style choice. Giving that extra guaranteed stun will work with the Rek'Sai quite nicely. Has a strong 4v4 with added wave clear, which is a big deal by having that Ezreal in the AD carry role. Doesn't have the best wave clear without using the ultimate.
That's exactly right. Now, can Cassiopeia stun Rek'Sai even though she's underground, not technically looking at her?
Yep.
Probably. I'd imagine so, but team composition's locked in for both teams, Sin. They've got Rogue as well as Juves to have that a little bit of initiate, but a lot of those champions, they want to go straight into your enemy team, and that's a bad thing to do versus a Cassiopeia.
Yeah, it's always risky having a team that wants to go forwards against a cast. Same thing applies for the Gragas Braum as well.
Yep.
They kind of just want you to come at them. They'll stand and deliver. Might work out well for the Chiefs, but if Sin ever get a lead and they are coming towards you with any kind of aggression, it can still take you out.
If you want to see that aggression in full fold, hashtag Sin win, or if you want to see Chiefs kind of hold their ground and push back, hashtag CHF win. Show your love and support for these teams because this is going to be an absolute cracker of a game, Rusty.
And it feels like Sin playing 4 of their 5 champions that they definitely want to be on. Rymeister, the only exception to this rule. He's not on a Zed or Diana or an assassin of any kind. Has to play that control mage, but definitely has what it takes on that Victor to take out the best. And I mean, they've set themselves up as best they possibly can. Sin with everything on the line right now. Need to show up.
Alrighty, guys, we are jumping into game number 1. Sin Gaming versus Chiefs Esports Club. Can I get a round of applause from home, from wherever you're watching, for these two teams? Sin, they're looking to avoid relegation. Chiefs, they're looking to lock in that semi-final spot. So a very important, very tense game for both of these teams.
I impulsively wanted to start clapping then as well when you said round of applause. Like, I can't do that. I have a microphone attached to me that would really annoy everybody listening.
We'll do fairy claps, isn't it? Where you just tap the fingers together?
I have an idea. Send in a gif of somebody clapping to Lolo Xianyao.
We'll send in a gif of Rymeister getting caught out of level 1 because that's exactly what happened right here. Picks up first blood.
Well, you can do that as well if you want. Like, just send in 2 gifs, I guess. Does get caught out of position, Rymeister. That's his flash burnt. Doesn't use the heal. And the Chiefs, on the opposite side of the jungle, actually find themselves with that kill. They get out of the base and they show that they mean business.
Yeah, Spooks, all it took was a body slam flash, and one Winter's Bite out of Aegim, locks him up, takes him down, and already asserting dominance over this map. How will Sin answer? Looks like standard lanes is the go-to.
And a lot of question marks thrown out by Sin there. Perhaps it was Raps meant to be checking that area.
Yeah.
Not to be. Once again, it is only first blood. But the Lucian picking it up, Raider having an extra longsword can mean a pretty big deal for a 2v2 that likes winning lane.
Ezreal, already it's going to be lacking those early game combat stats, going for a very mana-intensive build. If Raider can continuously get further and further ahead, make this small advantage into a big one, it's going to spell disaster in the bot lane, I feel.
Definitely could spell that disaster. Such a good word. Disaster.
What could happen after you give first blood to one of the best that OCE has to offer? On a champion that, by all means, once he gets ahead, hits that mid-game. The earlier you do it, the better, to be real here.
You're definitely right. Also, while we're looking at this middle lane, you can highlight the strength that a Cassiopeia has in that you don't need to auto-attack to trade. When you think about it, the minions actually only want to aggro you when you use auto-attacks. Considered that physical damage spell that the minions get angry about. And Cassiopeia can press Q, press E, and take you out.
Good hook by Rogue, plays the opposite direction, though. Doesn't want him to get close enough for Lucian to get that damage out.
Sin massively win that, though.
Oh, yeah, look at Raider's health.
It's on the back of Rogue, the man who just does not miss hooks. It is known.
That first blood gold actually giving him enough an extra potion as well, so we'll have the sustain advantage over his opponent. Things already weren't bad enough for poor Raps.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mr. Raps isn't exactly in the winning position on this bottom lane. We do have to direct our attention towards junglers, though, and what they're trying to achieve on Summoner's Rift right now. Spook postured bottom side. Another hook.
Zoom in, but a lot of damage traded onto Rogue this time. Mid laner just going back and forth. Rymeister might be in trouble here. Swiffer just straight up 1v1s him.
There it is. Rymeister now 0-2. Had his heal available. Didn't respect the damage that was coming out of Swiffer. A mistake to be seen from the mid laner of Sin, and now this is a snowballing mid lane at the exact same time. That's inexcusable from the Victor to have his heal up and to die.
This is such an important game as well. Stress levels running high for both these teams. Ooh, that one was a cheeky one through the minion Rogue. Not going to be hitting that. That's Q for Raider and Aegim to play aggressive, knowing that the cooldowns are down.
Yeah. The second it misses, you actually can just go forward. So Rogue playing aggressively by using his hooks. It also works backwards if you miss the hook.
Good double flay to keep Raps safe for now. Avoided the stun, but forced to use his own health potion. Raider chugged through both of his, so now all he's got is that longsword advantage. But he's turning it into a CS advantage, nearing up on 10.
Juves actually has a way in here on the top side of the map, dependent on Squiggle's stun, but not a creature stirring in the jungle, which is interesting to say, because that actually favors Chiefs by a fair margin here. They're winning their laning phases quite handily. Juves has no presence.
Yeah, well, Spooks has the flash coming up very, very shortly, which will pose a massive threat, as Rheinmeisters is still about 30 seconds or so off should he venture in the mid lane. We know that Swiffer is already dominating it so far.
Which, you know, surprisingly, Juves not ganking it's generally just unheard of.
Yeah.
He always wants to go towards that middle lane. Perhaps he was trying to play the Chiefs for the full by not ganking it. Could have looked somewhere else, but time spent looking for ganks is not time actually ganking. As now Spooks is mid and Juves is here.
Yeah, no flash on Rheinmeister available. Forced to use the heal. Is Juves there? Gets the flash. Knockup. It's not going to matter though. Swiffer just flashes in, takes him down under tower. We hear teleports coming in on the back, but Juves, you've strayed too far from safety, and I don't even think Squiggle can save you now. A double kill for Swiffer. He's looking to make it a triple at this rate.
Whoa, Swiffer now 3-0-1. Top lane is not able to have an impact. And it's exactly what we expect from the Chiefs. They're going from strength to strength, and they're not slowing down. They're actually pushing advantages aggressively. This is really refreshing to see from this team. Jim said they're back in form. Well, they may not have won the game, but it feels that way.
Oh no, Squiggle might be in trouble. Is the poison going to be enough? One more tick should do it. Survives by the skin of his teeth, and poor Rheinmeister walks back to lane. A level in the hole. Swiffer 3-0-1 with only a tier? Come on, man.
Yeah, he's going to go back and get a lot of items. Of course, Swiffer does use his ulti, has no summoner spells available, so once he comes back, he's relying on that item advantage to keep him in it. Rheinmeister will get a slight edge around the level 6 mark in that respect. The raw damage bonus could actually cause a bit of a stir. Chiefs mid laner.
Right here. Dan still avoids the hook. Exhaust comes down. Juves doesn't have a flash available. Uses a tunnel, gets a double knockup. The shield is good. Raider has to dash out of that one. Should be fine. The exhaust, perfect timing out of Egypt. Keeps his carry safe.
Yeah, and a dodge from Raider actually onto the Q out of Raps. Really good awareness from the Chiefs. Staying is a risk, but of course having Warlord's Bloodlust will help him out a bit there. As you can see, Rheinmeister found his way towards the bottom lane, running away from Spooks, who's a higher level than Rheinmeister.
Juves might be in trouble here as Spooks is going to catch him up. Chugs the trophy, goes in with the Q. Swiffer's in no position to help, but Spooks just doing work right now, dishing out the damage, denying Juves any peace of mind.
Yeah, and once again, they force Rheinmeister to go back to base by positioning where Spooks was. This is completely picking on the Victor, but it makes so much sense against Sin. We already know the power point of the Chiefs is that they can actually focus any lane. They're just really good 5 players. They can carry in every single position if they choose. But against the Sin roster, it actually makes the most sense that they look mid. The fact that they are doing it though, really good awareness.
Might be looking top here as Spooks is hanging off in the wing. Does have the ultimate available. Squiggle gets stunned up by Swiper. Does have flash, gets a nice double stun, but is it enough? No, there's the ulti to bonk him back in. Now Squiggle, he's going to go down. One more Transcendent Blade. No! Runs short of ammo, and Squiggle said skin of his teeth before, but once again just walks away.
Yeah, Squiggle gets out, albeit barely. Has no teleport to get him back to this lane, so once again the advantage the Swiper's getting. It wasn't large, but it's now a lot larger than it was. Juves also hanging around, clearing this top lane. He was close to half health, so he's not able to just brute force his way in. This gives the Chiefs more time knowing where the jungler of Sin is. And every time Spooks is somewhere, Juves is going to be 10 seconds late matching. Chiefs just win every lane.
One of the pros of Cassiope, you can see just how fast she deals damage, can take that blue buff very handily by her own. Rek'Sai just ulting, getting back. Thought there was a Cassiopeia ult for a second when I heard the scream, but is Juves just making his way back to the jungle.
Twin Fangs is like the loudest sound in League of Legends, honestly. It needs to calm down.
It might just be. Rogue takes a Winter's Bite in the butt. He's going to walk away. Wraps about half health. Doesn't have the ultimate available just yet. Radiant does have culling. Should they decide to play aggressive, Chiefs definitely have the advantage.
I hope there's somebody out there named Edward Culling.
Maybe. There's a lot of people out there, Rusty. A lot of summoners too.
That would be cool. Chiefs do have so much control of this lane, though. They could push in aggressively. They could actually chunk Raps out. They're not choosing to do so. They're waiting for their moment.
Juve is here. Go for anything. There's the initiate on the fight, but it might be too late. Rogue is quite low. There is Spooks in the back of that one. Juve, you're done. Look at Ejim just getting all up in it. The ult comes through, knocks Rogue back in. He's trying his hardest. A double kill for Raider. 2 teleports coming through. It is going to be Swiper and Squiggle, but a bit too late. Rymeister flashes over. Can he get anything out of it? No! He gets stunned up immediately. Now it's all on Squiggle. Can he get anything?
No
He's going to get stunned up. He's going to get taken down. And now they're doing an abomination. What is going on? 4 kills for 0. Chiefs stamp their foot down. They say, hell no, Sin.
Nobody dies from the Chiefs throughout that entire fight. That was actually insanity. Ejim barely lives. Every single member ends up with no health to their name, except for Swiffer, who wasn't even involved in that fight. He only helped to take out the Drake. That was effectively a 4v5 that Sin started off and looked for, but they lose it quite heavily.
Yeah, this is going from bad to worse for this Sin squad. Look at Swiffer, just so strong. And take it away, Rusty. That's all I can say.
I mean, it's easy to watch the way Ejim plays this one as well. They focus Juves out, but Ejim is forward the entire time. He goes on Rogue, knowing that they've already got Juves. Gets the stun, and this is where he just barely jumps away at the right time with just enough health to his name. I think it's Dangerous Game, actually, that gets him all this health back. Swiper decides to go for him, and then the whole team chooses to go onto Rymeister. Remember, he was 0-3 at this stage, so his burst is not big. Rats is effectively zoned by Swiper, but then has to run away and hide. And it's the Braum passive that does all of this in the end. The teamwork, the coordination, and the decision-making, both individually and as a team, shows why Chiefs are one of our top teams.
Oh man, I got such a big goofy grin watching that fight again, but it was such a pleasure to watch Chiefs just using every single advantage that they had accrued across the game to win such a nail-biting team fight. But look at the gold lead already, 5,000 at only 12 minutes in the game, 9 kills to 0. Sin yet to pick themselves up a first. One Ocean Drake, of course, across the Chiefs.
It's all class from the Chiefs right now. They are still playing this game out through laning phase. They want that Trinity Force spike, because Raider doesn't even know he's dodging it. That's how we're at in this game.
Instinctively dodges away from that one, takes the 2v1, a lot of damage down onto Raps. There is Spooks though, doesn't get the barrel, doesn't get the body slam, but it's not going to matter. The culling, but the skin doesn't get it. Ejim though going for the big 2v1, hits the ulti. Can he do anything more? 1Q onto Rogue should do it, but fears for his own safety, decides to back away from that one.
Yeah, but he does the work, pushes them off the turret, and they will actually take this one down. You can see how aggressive Raider is. Well, he's 5-0-1, and so he should be aggressive. Spook's even focusing this bottom lane. Things have changed for the Chiefs in this first game, and they're in such a position of power.
Oh my god, Juve's just getting absolutely melted by Swiffer right now. No magic resistance as far as the eye can see across this Sin squad. Very, very daunting task they had to have ahead of them, dealing with this Cassiopeia who wasn't even present last fight.
This is the Chiefs roster that you would look at and say it doesn't feel like they were even in a slump.
Yeah.
They were. It doesn't feel like it, that's for certain.
Believe it or not.
Ripwoods.
Spruce going in, checking out the blue buff Rogues there to provide a small deterrent, if any, at this stage. Taking out the tunnels.
You're about to find Spook.
Looks comes through. Just got a body slam out of that one, Rogue not timing. The body slam with the flame misses out on a potential chunk of damage.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 when you're trying to play it. If he waits or if he goes immediately, it's hard to tell. Chiefs are still in a commanding spot. They not only break the bottom turret, they immediately recall, go to the top lane. Spooks is pressuring the blue buff because that's where his strong side of the map is. Doesn't mean that Sin can actually respond after a hook connects. It just means really good awareness from Rogue to be on the other side of the map at the right time.
Now they're just going to be taking this Rip Herald quite handily, if I don't say so myself. Spook's going to be giving that one over to Swiper if he wasn't strong enough. Currently sitting on 0-0-3. Hasn't picked up Trinity Force yet, but he might be on his way to now.
He wouldn't be far off after this recall.
Juice takes away the blue buff. Hearing that Rift Herald scream confirms his suspicions of where the Chiefs roster is at this stage. Swiper just making his way up, taking out tunnels where he can, getting down the vision. Rogue coming through, might be in trouble. Hook goes wide. Swiper has to respect the damage output. Squiggle, though, not respecting Radier. No cull available. Radier just going to be chasing him down. The ulti comes through, cleans it up. Spooks is on fire right now. Speaking of a fire, Swiffer finally getting taken down, put in the kiln, turned to stone. Takes 3 of them, and Rymeister's whole health bar, but it happens.
Scumbag Swiffer. That is the first death of the game for the Chiefs, but Sin do get themselves the first kill. Spook's also able to lock down that Jax that we saw earlier, so Squiggle not able to 1v1 Raider. Ultimately determines how this game is going, because I'm pretty sure Swiper can take on Raps. That's the stage we're at.
It's a very, very, very good game for the Chiefs. They are looking dominating right now, and like you said, if just a week ago someone told you they were in a slump, they would call you a liar. Looking at this mid tower, they got their sights set on the hook, comes through onto Spook, but Juice in a world of hurt just gets taken down. Swiper in the back line, got his sights set onto right. Nice double stun. No Chaos Storm available just yet. They get the tower, they get the kill, and get out with their lives.
It was really well timed actually from the Chiefs to go mid lane, given that the Victor had to recall. They may have had no Cassiopeia, but it doesn't matter because Raider has enough damage for 2 people at the moment. They are absolutely on fire.
How does he hit them? Gets another hook, but that signals the Chiefs to go in. They get the kill. Squiggle in the back line trying to get the stuns up. He may have found one, gets 2 kills.
Raider's
actually
hooked now.
Onto Raider. Turret coming down. One more attack should do it. Narrowly avoids that one, but a shutdown goes over to Rogue. Swiffer tried to keep him safe with the ulti, but it wasn't enough.
Rogue is actually a god. He is the only thing keeping Sin in this game right now. They have a 0-3 top laner, 0-3 jungler. Their AD carry does no damage and dies with summoners available, but Rogue is a god. There's one thing that is consistent through Sin's games.
Look, when he's got the Thresh, he's an absolute superstar. Constantly hitting those mind-boggling hooks, getting the clutch flays, and really just opening up the map. It's a thing of beauty to watch. Will it be enough for Sin? Only time will tell.
There aren't many people who can make a highlight reel in a losing game.
Yeah.
It's the best way to look at it right now. He's doing his best with what he has, but what the Chiefs have is a whole lot more. At even 16 minutes into this game, it feels like they are well and truly in control.
Look, Raps still sitting on his Sheen and Muramana, while of course Radiant on the other side completed Ghostblade, completed Black Cleaver, and a Zeal on top of all that damage. Just kind of contrasts how ahead Radiant is of his counterpart right now.
And the question is where they actually go from here, because it is only this early into the game, with no Baron for them to take and only a Cloud Drake standing. It looks like they have to go for an inner turret, and it seems like top lane is the one that they choose. They will concede a Drake if they do this, but that's so worth it for the Chiefs.
Look at the minimap. No one from Sin is there to stop them, and I don't even think they could if they were.
They're actually just like 4-man diving Swiper. This is so worth it though for the Chiefs. Like,
Swiper gets hit up. Might just take one with him. Juice forced to flash his way, and that one still gets a kill regardless.
What?
Will they kill him here? He doesn't have the flash available, maybe baiting that one away. It does go over to Raps, but Chiefs, they're calling their bluff. They're pushing. They may even get this inhibitor turret.
If he had flash, he might have lived that. Swiper's going off, and the Chiefs are now sieging.
Coming through onto Rymeister. He's in trouble, gets blown up without a second's thought. Chiefs going to get this inhibitor turret, maybe even the inhibitor, is the only one back so far is Rogue's Thresh, and it's good, but it's not that good.
That's, again, like, yes, it's a trade from Sin, but it feels like a desperate one. They just chose an outer turret for an inhibitor in what was effectively 1-for-1 in champion kills. There's not a thing that Rogue can do, but he doesn't get that one.
Look, they basically traded, Sin basically traded their Charizard for a Pidgey at this stage, is what it felt like, essentially.
Depends what you value, really. I think Drowsy's better.
Drowsy for Charizard?
You've seen his like fingers and he does like...
It's a creepy one, that's for sure.
So good.
I love all the screenshots of them all lined up together, looking really
Oh,
creepy.
bro, good night.
It's like Rogue just painting a picture for us of the state of the game. Walks into the petrifying gaze, gets turned to stone. Swiffer, a few twin fangs later, picks himself up another kill.
Interesting. Swiffer has to place a pink ward to secure that. Juves are...
Tunneling in there, a little bit aggressive. Ghost has been popped by Swiffer. There is a gravity field from Rye, but he might be in trouble now. Look at the movement speed that Swiffer gets when he hits that Q. Hits another one, uses it to back out though.
Has the Ghost and his Q at the same time. That's an incredible amount of movement speed that a cast gets. And again, 5-1-2 doesn't have his Rylai's, but is not far away from it. And at that point, no one actually gets away. You can't just walk it off. You have to fight him. As these two top laners, it could still go either direction, given the items that they have.
Sniper's got the 2-level lead and the Rift Herald, so
Yeah, that's
Squiggle's
the
definitely got his work cut out for him in this lane. Just has to stand by and watch as Sniper plays PvE with him for now.
He's asking if he wants a piece of the champ.
That's what he's doing. Well, right now I think Swipper's the champ, so Squiggle kind of pondering it on himself.
He's more asking if he wants a piece of the mid laner of the Chiefs.
Baron being started here by the Chiefs. Is there anything Sin can realistically do to stop this?
Not really, especially not when the Cassiopeia is actually present, because they'll now exponentially increase the rate with which they do this Baron buff. It's just gone.
There really no hope. They send the Ezreal ult through to get a bit of scouting here. Squiggle definitely not the champ right now. Rogue gets a hook onto Egypt. Can they convert it into anything but a Rogue death? No, it doesn't seem likely.
Whoa,
Radiant flashes over the wall. Very aggressive, but Egypt backs him up now. Here comes Spooks. Gets the slow onto Juice Raps. You're not long for this world, mate. As Swiffer picks him up. And Chiefs, 20 kills to 5 in 20 minutes. 1 kill per minute.
They just flashed over that wall to jump to Swiffer. That's ridiculous. They're just trying to end the game through that flash.
They may just.
This is the closest competitive game that I have seen in Oceanic League of Legends to a 5-man Chiefs dynamic queue against the solo queue team.
Look, this is disgusting. Chiefs just completely dismantle Sin Gaming in game number 1. They take the Nexus. They take game number 1. Squiggle takes a Lantern back to base. Ultimate's expended, but at the end of the day, a very convincing Chiefs win. 13k gold in the lead, 15 kills ahead. What can we really say about how Chiefs are playing?
That was just such a coveted and well-controlled victory from the start to the end. The Chiefs, they did not look like even slowing down. A 21-minute competitive game victory to actually kill the Nexus speaks volumes to how effectively and efficiently the Chiefs controlled that game. I think it's safe to say that they're back.
Well, it is definitely safe to say that they're back, looking phenomenally in game number 1. I'm really excited to see if they change anything up to game number 2, but we are going to send it back to the desk to talk about that Chiefs victory.
Thank you, Rogie and Rusty. My name is Michael Hingis-Hing, and I'm joined here at the analyst desk by Froskerin and Raz. Is that a collapse by Sin that we just saw? It seemed like a dominant performance by Chiefs, yeah?
So effectively, this was kind of a love story of 2 different junglers. This was
A
Juves.
love story.
Yeah, love story. This is Juves. The love. So it's Juves versus Spooks, but it's a love story about how their teams treat them and how their teams work around them and the responsibilities within their teams. So the beautiful thing about Spooks is his pathing. His pathing is so fluid and so sharp. It felt like he was everywhere. It felt like he was beating Juves around the corner at every turn. And it's this idea that to Spooks, the jungle is as effective a resource as a lane resource. It's not just a place that he sits and he just uses as a means to get levels and gold before ganks or in between ganks. It's like his jungle will lead him to the gank or he'll flow perfectly through it. Where Juves more has this identity as being, I mean, we make the joke all the time, like the third summoner spell for Rymeister, where he just kind of sits into the jungle until his team calls him and utilizes him in these ganks.
Yeah, so honestly, yeah, as you said, Juves is the reacting force. He plays to his lanes in a sense, while Spooks he has the strong lanes. He doesn't technically need to do anything, but he is so proactive. He thinks quite a bit. And here's the thing, like Rek'Sai versus Gragas, Rek'Sai generally has the edge, but Cassiopeia will constantly push into the Victor, right? And so he knows the matchup. He plays well into it, and it even starts from the level 1. The level 1 was actually incredibly smart from the Chiefs. I haven't seen that in like any region where pretty much everybody knows where the 5-point setup is, where someone is going to end up guarding that the red buff in that ramp area, and so I want to see like where Gragas pretty much like invaded on. He probably body slammed over the pit, got in, got the Gragas like body slam flash, free kill. Is able to pretty much impact the entire map. His kill participation in that game was the solo reason why they won, pretty much.
About 90%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just this, again, it goes back to this idea that Juves He didn't have much to work with. Rai, he burns his flash early on in the level 1 gank. He immediately then doesn't respect Swiffer's damage. He dies with the heal. But if you lose that much control over the mid lane, like Juves doesn't have any options. He can never invade. He's constantly being pushed in on, and Spooks is constantly invading and abusing that wave pressure point.
All right, well, let us see if Sin can take back a game or if Chiefs are going to close it out. We'll be back right after this.